wanted to officially welcome you to the Business Lounge. This is a completely new platform that WEOP has put together so that entrepreneurs, that business leaders like us could actually get on a call and have real rich discussion. So first, I wanted to say thank you, WEOP, for creating this platform for us. It's absolutely phenomenal. And really, when we started to dream about what this format could be, I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes just setting up like this call and what it's all about. This format was really designed for us to network, for us to share information, and for us to challenge the paradigms that we have in our head about business, period. Like, it's really, really easy. And I think that as we start to walk out of these discussions, the idea is to make sure that we can secure insights from one another that will allow us to grow our businesses, to challenge norms, as I've talked about, to strengthen our infrastructures on our business. And last but not least, I guess it's all important, but to open up new doors as we start to think about how we can move the needle moving forward. You guys, welcome to the call. I'm just giving a little bit of an overview to kind of set up what we're doing. If you don't have a drink in hand, I encourage it. If your camera is still off, I am going to haze you up to turn your cameras on, just so you know. Clearly there's a Delta in the house. So on this call, like if we were to think about the rules of engagement, we want your cameras on. We want to be able to talk candidly. We want to see each other, get to know each other. And I know the boxes are super little, but we'll figure out how to spotlight and create a platform for us all to have a voice. Now, there's several things that we could use on here so that we could keep this discussion really dynamic. So does everyone know how to use the reactions that's at the very bottom of the screen? So on the reactions, you can click this little button on the side. Wait, where are my reactions at? Here we go. You can clap. I just did a clap. You can always clap for me. I'm down for that. Okay, here we go. We can do a thumbs up. We could do a heart. So like if everybody just puts a heart on screen, just the fact that we're together today, I think is amazing. Let's heart this moment. Yes, perfect. So we can use our emojis. And last but not least, we can get into this chat room. So, you know, the chat is just an easy way. If everyone just goes in the chat and say hello really quick, like we're going to use all of these forms to make sure we keep this conversation dynamic. And last but not least, we want to hear your voice. Okay, so you can definitely speak through all of this and you'll see how I'm structuring this conversation so that everyone can have a voice. Okay, so let's talk about the structure really quick. And this is the first and we have 3 more to go. But this is really like a Q&A. And typically when you see a Q&A, they bring up like the 3 people on the panel and they let those 3 people kind of answer questions. We're not doing that because on this call, we are all the experts, okay? So I will be throwing out questions and we will find the places that we want to just fit in and share and collectively begin to engage in a conversation. So I'm super excited about all the faces that I see on this call. Now, you know, some of us like to talk a whole heck of a lot. So when we give the floor to you, we'll kind of keep you on a 2-minute thing and let you like do your wrap up so we can ensure that everyone has an opportunity to dive in. Okay, how does that all sound? Can I get like an emoji to tell me if this sounds interesting, boring, I better deliver? What are we thinking? And you can speak it. Okay, thumbs up, claps. Okay, so far so good. Okay, cool. So first one, I know like we're sitting right now, and at least for me, oh, more cameras on. Leslie, we see you. Hey, Myra, I didn't call you out before, but I saw the sun is like shining right on the right place on that side face. It's really pretty. So, you know, one of the things, we're sitting in September or about to hit September tomorrow. I can't believe that we are already at September. And one of the things that I'm doing is a lot of reflection on how trimester 1 and 2, or you could talk about it in quarters, you know, 1, 2, 3 have performed. Really, one of the things I thought we could start with is for us to begin to share. In the first place that we share is in the chat, but can you share some of the challenges that your business has faced as you start to look at previous, you know, performance of 2022? I would love for you to share in this chat what some of the things are. Let's see. Okay. And this might take a couple of minutes, but like, you know, one of the things, I didn't even adequately introduce myself. I'll do that because there are a couple of new faces. My name is, Raising Capital for sure. My name is Yolanda White. I am the founder and CEO of a luxury loungewear line called Deo Women. So it's all about retail and direct to consumer, as well as some B2B, given I have wholesale. Raising capital for sure. I think so many of us can agree with securing capital for our businesses is not the easiest thing as a Black woman. Anyone else want to add to this? And we're going to talk a little bit about this. That'll be one of the topics we could dive into. Oh, just reestablishing your business after relocating from another state. That's great. And we can talk a little bit about that as well. So reestablishing or getting started, those will be both like in the same place. It's all about like scaling up and solidifying the base of your business. So we can talk about that. Oh, networking. Well, you in the right place, Talina. We about to network all this whole hour and then getting a stable clientele. Okay. That's a good one. Oh, I got some good ones for that. Okay, Jewel, thank you for sharing. 25 years, let's go. Okay. How long has your nonprofit been in existence?
I just started my nonprofit in last year.
Okay, so less than like a year. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see you, Kim, with social media. This is good. And Jewel, I would put yours with the other one, like scaling, solidifying a base. That's all sitting in the same bucket. Oh yeah, social media. Algorithms are killing all of us. You post a video and then you get like 1,000 likes, and you post another one and you get 2 likes. You're like, help me figure out what's happening here. But okay, this is good. These are really good ones, and I put them into 3 buckets. And so, you know, I have them in 1, 2, 3. One is about like securing capital, whether you're raising it, borrowing it, begging for it from like a seed round. We can talk through those different options, but I think capital is a big one. And so if we could just stop on that one, and then we'll get to the other ones, because this has been really helpful. Can anyone provide any insight? Like if you were to secure capital, how much money are you really looking for? What would help your business today? And you can jump right on in and speak.
I'll talk. One of the things I know for me is taking my business to the next level. I would definitely use capital to have a dynamic website. I would definitely definitely create a better social media presence, and also equipment, and also spend it more on I guess joining more organizations where I need to be placed strategically. And you join an organization and it's $200-300, and if you want to join so many, that can rack up.
So how much in total do you think you would need for your business in order to create the scale?
I've been looking out for grants for between $10,000 and $20,000.
Okay, that's good. Anyone else want to share? And thank you for giving us a little bit more detail underneath how you would use the money. And I do want to talk about that in a second. Anyone else?
Yeah, I need over 1 million for construction, and then 89 for startup.
So you need 1 million in capital, and then what's the 89,000?
The 89,000 would be as far as website, putting my together, everything that I need to run my everyday business, to help my nonprofit go to that next level. Okay. So that's what I need first. I've already identified the location, and I do know what it would cost to rehab and get that up and running.
So the million is for you to have a brick and mortar for the nonprofit?
A whole row house, a block.
Okay, I got you. Gotcha. You don't need the whole million. But you need to borrow $1 million and pay a tax
Yeah, I
fee.
need that million so we can work on this because I have my team ready.
Okay.
I've already submitted 3 proposals to private, corporate, and a couple of private places where I've sent that, and I'll know by September if I could go further or if I I sent 3, so I have one way I could go further. The second one is they just go ahead and lend me or give me whatever we need to start the nonprofit.
No, I got you.
You got me? Yeah.
Makes sense. No, I was just curious and I do love that you separated that out because it gives some dimension. Anyone else like that's in the capital bucket that you want to give some insight around how much, what you're looking for, that kind of thing, and what you would use it for?
Yolanda, go ahead.
I was just trying to find out, I wanted to ask, like, what's the priority? You know, they say you got to have money to make money. So because I also relocated here state. Do I just kind of work, and I work in corporate. So do I save money, save up capital and then do and execute and start my business, starting from the foundation with, a location, PO box, business, just do I start there, or do I just go and get the capital and then budget? So what do you do first, or does it really matter?
No, I think that's a great question. And it really is dependent on your business, to be honest. Like, I happen to be in an industry that's super duper capital intensive because you can't buy clothes unless they're produced, So I have to make the investment in the product before anyone ever sees it, touches it, smells it, puts it on, and all that great stuff. So, and for me, it was all about having a baseline to create the brand and to create the product. For people who are in service-oriented businesses, the hurdle is not as high, to be honest. There still is a hurdle. I have some experts that can dive into that, but I think it's all contingent on the type of business. What type of business are you looking to start?
I have kind of 2. One is I'm an etiquette and dining consultant. So I want to bring back cotillions and debutante balls through organizations that sponsor them for the community. That's one. And then the other is a consulting group. As a project manager, I've done 20 years, and I think I'm ready to fly on my own and leave corporate. So I would like to kind of just do those 2, and I could be in a happy place.
Okay. I love that. Okay, so let's talk a little. I would love so now we know one topic that we have a little bit more context around capital in general. Some people want a lower amount from 10 to 20, all the way up to $1 million. Like, it's some money we're talking about. But for people who are on the call who have received any money or who ran their business without money, I would love for you to jump in and give some perspective, either like just to give some perspective on what you've been hearing and what you think are some solutions, and then I'll dive in on some answers on this.
If I could chime in, Yolanda, particularly during COVID, I applied for quite a few grants. I did get EIDL money and PPP money as well, but I did quite well with grants, and I've continued to do well with grants. And I think a lot of it has to do with the preparation of having all of your documentation and having all the things that they're asking for. I know often a lot of small businesses, especially sometimes we're operating on a shoestring budget, and we're not really paying attention to the finer details of, the articles of incorporation or organization and business licenses and payroll and all those kinds of things. And I found it to be much more important as we move forward, because I think so many people are spotlighting grants now, because obviously it's great to have monies that you don't have to pay back. And if you are going after monies that you do have to pay back, the scrutiny is even greater in terms of preparation for those loans.
Melissa, can you tell us a little bit about what type of business you have, and give us some insight about you? That's a great.
Yes. So I own a financial planning firm. I've been a financial planner for 25 years. And I personally had to pivot when COVID first started because nobody was moving money because everybody was concerned that there wasn't going to be any more. And so like a lot of other small businesses, I just started researching all the government resources that were out there. And then I end up pivoting for quite some time and just kind of consulting with a lot of small businesses around how to get the loans, how to get the grants. I was on all these different webinars that were kind of explaining to you what you needed to do and how to do it. And so as I was doing that for my own business, I started, trying to help a lot of other small businesses. And I really saw how many of us were not really prepared. How many of us, especially for the free money that was out there, a lot of people didn't get the free money. And maybe I shouldn't say free, get the money that you didn't have to pay back because they weren't ready. They weren't ready.
Let me ask you this, like, I happen to be concerned about some of those grants, like collecting information, and I didn't want to give like all of my confidential financial, I had it, but there were certain programs that I was like, I don't know if I want all that information out about me. So what's your thought around that topic? Like, don't be afraid, go get the money and give them all the information they want, or what's your thought in general?
Well, I do think there's something to be said. I mean, they're scamming in every industry, right? So I think, we have to take a little bit of due diligence upon ourselves to really kind of look into these organizations. There's nothing like looking up their business license and looking up the, Secretary of State to see, are they a legitimate business? But I also think just from our community, sometimes we are very apprehensive about giving personal data. And I think we're living in a time now where, nothing is 100% confidential. You're hearing about breaches all the time. And so, more people are really starting to focus on cybersecurity and things like that for businesses. I know that's something I focus on just because of all the personal data that I have from my clients. But at some point, you have to give some information if you want to get the funds or the resources that you're looking for.
I like to jump in because I do know as a nonprofit, if you are interested in any type of grants, you need to be registered first. So that means that you need to register with sam.gov first. Then you need to be registering with grant.gov as well. And that takes a while. I mean, it's not easy. You have to put that work in. You have to have all your paperwork in order to even look at half of the federal and the state grants that they have out there that are free for you.
So you type those, I love those two resources that you put on there that people need to do. I wasn't familiar with the grant.org one. Can you just type?
Yes, because you need one before you can have the other. Okay. And I had
there it goes.
done all of this as a nonprofit. I put all this together. First, you need to get your sam.gov registration. And then in order for you to move into the grant.gov, you need to put everything in order. All your entity must be in order. It has to be approved. Once it's approved, then you go to grant.gov and apply for the grant.gov, and then they have to approve it as well. But they will approve it automatically once you've already started your sam.gov. And I'm telling you, it's a lot of work. Sometimes they don't get the information. Sometimes when you're in a certain entity, it's not registered. So you just gotta keep going and letting them know that, you've done.
How long did it take you to get approved?
It took me 6 months. Okay. With all the nonsense, 6 months. So it's not easy. And they do that on purpose.
I know.
So, and the thing is that people think that there's funds out there, free funds. No, it's not.
Well, let's not say free. It's funds that you may not have to pay back. So please don't just put it in.
Let me add to the conversation.
Okay, go ahead, Mary.
Let me add. Grants.gov is for federal grants only, and also sam.gov is only for federal grants. So you don't need that for other types of grants. And so I'm going to make that clear to everybody on the call. You can apply for any kind of grants, but grants.gov and therefore federal level grants only. Let's make that clear. You have that for
Well,
regular
that's great.
grants.
So Crystal put it, thank you, Crystal, for getting that covered in the chat. So if anyone is interested in a federal grant, these are two great resources that may take you a little bit of time to get approved, as Jules said.
But as a member, and let me add to that conversation.
Yeah,
If
I
you
went through that process.
let me also add, if you know of a consultant that does that, it can take you up to probably a couple of hours to do it. So our WEOP members, we do that for the WEOP members, we do that as a consulting for our members. And it takes about 3 hours to do, and it takes about 2 weeks to process. So if you know what you do, you can do it really fast. The thing is, if you're not familiar with it, it would take you a long time, but it takes SAM.gov about 2 weeks to register for SAM.gov.
Yeah,
Thank you guys.
they couldn't recognize my my nonprofit, and that's why it took forever. I had to keep submitting. So it took 6 months for me.
Okay.
But no, but you could. I think what Mary's saying is you can it might not
process.
You can get people to help you expedite just the
Right. And I don't know.
You understand the technical difficulties.
Yeah, but
Who
yeah.
are the people though? Who can you recommend?
You can contact me offline and I can give you some recommendations. My email.
Yeah. I mean, I have mine set up, but I like to recommend for other people, so that's good.
Okay.
Okay, you guys can take that offline or do some direct messages to each other to figure out if name
Great.
elevate. That's great. We're still on capital real quick, you guys. So I wanted to hear any other hacks or things you're tapping into, any special prayers you're saying that has brought about some money. No, okay.
And I want to add to that also. Access to capital for entrepreneurs is ACE provide loans, but you also have to have the documentation in order to qualify for these loans. So you want to make sure you check with the ACE on a regular basis to see what they have available. They have character loans.
Is anyone familiar with ACE? Just put like
Access to capital for entrepreneurs.
Or your real hands.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, if you do need capital, it's just an easy, quick way. Like they are super supportive without you needing a whole bunch of rigmarole to get to some funds. And I think they have a good program underneath it. They've been really helpful for me.
But we need to get our paperwork right. So it sounds like we need your paperwork, your foundational stuff first before you go looking for grants or anything. Like that.
Yes, and I just want
to be in business for a year. I mean, like if I just moved here and I'm only about a month old here in Georgia, do I get my paperwork and then month 2 go start looking? Is that reasonable expectation?
I don't remember for ACE there was
you just get started. Yep.
Well, it really depends though, guys, right? It depends on what the criteria is based on where and who you're applying with and through. There are some that will have those type requirements, but the majority of them don't. And so one of the things I just wanted to contribute to the conversation, especially for the two people who were saying that you're starting your business. So it's really important to understand before you go start trying to get capital is what is the purpose of the capital and how are you going to use the capital? Because anyone that loans money, even with grants and scholarships, people want to know the details. And so one of the things I just want to encourage anyone who's going into consulting work, I totally agree with Yolanda. It was much easier for me to start my training, consulting, speaking, and coaching business because it is a service business. But I believe that I made a lot of inroads because I was very clear on what I was doing. I was very clear on who my clients are. So I made sure that I understood what was needed in that environment. So for instance, if you're going to do project management consulting, who are your clients? Are you going after federal contracts, state contracts? Because the requirements could be different. And I know for a fact they're different if you're going to do consulting work with corporations. So if you're going to do, that type B2B. So you want to be very clear. And the best way to do that is to create a business plan. And, I coach people and they always like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Trust me, you're going to be so grateful that you have that written business plan so you know what to do. And you don't need, and so if you're already working and if you have some money set aside, you can start legitimizing your business without a lot of money. Because you would look at what do you need to do? If you come to the state, you've got to first register your business with the state of Georgia. That's going to cost you about $150, right? And so if you got a 9 to 5 with a regular income, I'm sure you can afford that, especially project managers, because I know what y'all make. I used to manage them. But anyway, so I want to just encourage you to don't think you can't start your business, because you can start now. And then as you are getting those structural things done, the paperwork, making sure that you understand what you need for the industry. If you want to do business in corporate, there will be some certifications that you're going to need. But I hear people talking about they want all these certifications and then they get them and they do nothing with them. And the reason why is because they had no vision for them. So I don't go after certifications just to say I have them. I have a purpose for a certification. I'm not going to be paying for one if I don't have a purpose or vision for it. So
thank you for that ad. That's really great. And I mean, one of the things you punctuated that I think is really great is knowing what you want to use the money for. I personally don't believe in taking out loans that you have to pay interest on to do things that are non-revenue generating, quite honest, because the reality is if you're borrowing money to do like baseline stuff that is not like aligning with revenue, what you find is you're creating debt that is stacking up and you won't be able to pay it back. So, one of the things I was just sitting here thinking when we started going through what are some of the specific things. We heard website multiple times. If your website is creating a revenue stream for you, then absolutely you would use borrow funds to help you get to the finish line on that. If you find that social media is something that is good for you to instill for your business, but not quite like necessary for you to drive the revenue, then you may not want to use borrowed money in order to help you like solidify your social media messaging. So that's just one of the like operating premises I use when it comes to how I want to like use money. And then I will tell you like some of these areas that we name, and I know we're going to talk about like this social media thing because Kim is like, help me fix this. But there's so much that we could do, but we have to get outside of our heads, like in order to go do it and just go try and fail. Anything that's on Instagram, I mean, I put up stuff that I get 3 likes and I'm like, yeah, nobody liked that shit. So I take it down, so I think we can be a little bit more exploratory when it comes to that space, but we're going to talk about that. So listen,
Yolanda, can I just add something if you don't mind? So, and I just wanted to speak to the access to capital, because as somebody who got several doors slammed in her face trying to get access to capital, I think that story just needs to be told, because I don't want women to be discouraged, because I was discouraged and it took time. And so I had to actually do things in my business with what I could when people said no, so for me, it was a gradual build. And the thing that can be really frustrating is people will give money to you when you have money. Sometimes it's harder for them to give you money when you don't. And so there were things that I began to focus on that were within my control, like just focusing on my credit, making sure, that I was, because regardless of your business, especially if you're a solo, person in your business or what have you, they're going to look at your personal credit. That's something we all can control. We can't control who gives us money, but we can control how we increase our credit. Pay down whatever you can on credit cards and try to get as slimline as possible as you can in that way. And then also, because like I said, it took me years. Like I had many doors slammed in my face. And I realized again, because they were looking, it took certain time to get my business to a certain level. And then when I got that level, like when I needed, thousands of dollars, it took me 2 weeks to get it, and I just don't even use, like I have an equity line of credit that I don't use. I wasn't getting it to use. I was getting it to have it for when I need it. But I'm saying, I just didn't want the ladies to get discouraged, because depending on, if you're just starting your business, or because it took me years, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't even, I'm 15 years in business. And a lot of things just started happening for me in terms of getting access within the last few. So I just have to tell that story because it's real. It's what a lot of us face. And while there are resources out there, there's always a timing issue as well sometimes. And so I would just say, keep your head up. If you're in the same situation I was, and focus on what you can control while you're building to get to the point where you really want to be.
I love that story, Kim, and thank you for sharing it. One, and it's the kind of inspiration we need to understand. You may not be able to do everything at one time, but there are pieces you can do slowly until you have the big windows behind you, like you have. It's
Thank you.
Okay,
And look, after the tears.
After the tears, baby. So we talked about the first piece, which was raising capital. Another piece that was really like, you know, a burning challenge for a lot of us is scaling, solidifying the business while building up clientele. I would love for someone to jump in and share any tips or tools around what you do to build your clientele that can help all of us remember and continue to do those things as we can, you know, close out this, like the back half of the year. Who wants to jump in?
I want to just add something. Somebody earlier was saying something about, I think it was Jewel, talking about, you know, joining several different organizations and you're paying, you know, X amount of dollars. I think it really is important that it is important to belong to some organizations. And I think people really should really discern, like go visit a few times, see if it's really going to be worth your time. Because we only have so much bandwidth anyway, right? We only have so many hours in the day. And so, you know, our time is very valuable. And I think that if you just find one or two really good organizations, really, you know, dive deep, you know, get involved, that will serve us better than, you know, being able to say we're members of 6 or 7 organizations on paper. So it's just like you would talk about, you know, where are you going to get the most value, you know, in terms of what you're trying to do. So, I mean, Yvette talked about having a vision for your business, even having a vision for the type of organizations that you're going to align yourself with to help you grow and scale your business, I think is equally important.
No, I think that's a great point. I mean, I do every month, I write down 5 women and or organizations are in that 5 that I will commit to getting closer to and investing my time. Every month I reset it with another 5. And out of that, I find sometimes all 5 stick, very rarely, you guys. And in most cases, I will have like 1 or 2 connections that will stick and turn into a business opportunity. So I literally, it is like a cadence of mine I do every single month. And, you know, it helps me get access to new people, new organizations. But for me, I'm always building clients and sponsors. So it really does a great job with like, and sometimes it doesn't turn into business right away, but it like my network is constantly expanding only from five, like a focus of 5 people, only 5 per month. Because to your point, like Melissa, you only have so much time. You can't do it all. And what I find is once that month is gone and I've invested that time, it's easier to continue the relationship. I don't have to invest as much time after that month, but in that month, we figure out if there's something there. So like, even as we get to the end of this call, like I will challenge you to pick one person. Oh shoot, Jasmine, I just saw you, beautiful. You know, that you connect with that really will help you in some form or fashion. And you never know when they'll present that opportunity for you. So it's a really good one. Anyone else want to share how
I will.
Yeah, go ahead. That'd be great.
So hello, Jasmine Duke. I'm sorry, I'm late.
You got so much light behind you, girl. You like a little mystery over there. Like
my new house.
Oh, okay, that's good.
I just moved, so I don't know like all the angles quite yet. So you're gonna have to work with me. I'll definitely comment. I think, you know, especially as business owners, when we think about weathering different markets, you know, as business owners, the last few years have been like curveballs nobody saw coming, right? Global pandemic. Now we got monkeypox, recession. Like these are big, wild events for you to be living through. And then on top of it, trying to run a business, trying to get capital, trying to keep yourself afloat, trying to make sure your customers are getting the value from you. And my business specifically, about 6 months ago, I really got hit hard with the recession. Like I saw the drop, and on top of it, everything went up in price. I had my business, just raw material goods went up 15% in 90 days. Like just so like end to end. And I was actually talking with a cousin of mine who owns business, and I was like, you know, I'm struggling, and I feel really lost on like what to do. And the thing he said to me is like, you know what, go back go back to basics. And it made me realize that, you know, when I was earlier in my business, I spent a lot of time, like Yolanda was saying, like one-on-one with customers, talking to them about their skin, talking to them about what they needed, what they liked about the products, like really kind of connecting back in to just a smaller, intimate group of customers, but like consistently. And that's also how you build a recession-proof business, right? That's how you lock in and really get customers that ride with you, because you're really connected in the value that you're giving them, and making sure that you're not, you know, getting too wrapped up in Facebook ads. And, you know, we're running this internet. I feel like I run the internet stuff for the business so much that it's easy for me to lose like touch with the physical person who's on the other end of the computer consuming the product. So I've been doing that, and, you know, sales really have bounced back up, because it's like you're keeping in that percent of loyal users who are going to stick with you through, you know, through ups and downs, through different changes.
No, I'm glad you shared that. I love the back to basics and just like connecting with the customer. I keep that as and whether you're doing it for like B2B or like, you know, just straight to like direct to consumer, like both are really, really important to do. And I never lost sight of that during COVID. And I cannot even, I'm like, I feel so blessed that Deo is still going. I mean, loungewear definitely did boom during COVID, but it's like to even still like drive growth and like scale during this time, I really believe it's a testament to staying connected with people, you know, at companies and individually. So thank you for that story, Jasmine. Anyone else want to share anything about clientele? Like we've talked about going after organizations, building individually, just using some of the basics in order to communicate your product and your product benefits. Anything else you guys would add? Crystal, I can't hear you though. You might be on mute. I see your mouth moving. There you
What
go.
about now?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Hello. So I would say, even though I was actually one of the people that posed this question, I will add that what started happening for me, because I was struggling with this, is I just started to be social. I mean, as I'm in a Lyft, Uber, as I'm talking to people, seeing people around my apartment complex or on the street, just engaging with people. And I found that people are more apt to just open up, just because you're, you know, just trying to spark a conversation and you're just talking about your struggles or whatever it is. And I've actually gotten a lot of contacts just from that. Now, whether it turns into a business relationship or a collaboration is yet to be seen. But I found that a really good way, besides the strategic ways of joining groups and specific networking events, is just telling people about what you do and how you can help them.
I love it. I mean, I push women for this all the time. Get purposeful about the business cards you receive. Know who you want to action on, follow up with them, send the emails. Some stuff will stick, some will not. But I think so often we meet people and we think, oh, we met them and we impressed them, but how much did we reach out to them? Did we connect with them personally or professionally? And if you start to like write it down, I connected with this person, keep a list. It's been 2 months. Oh, I haven't talked to Tina. Send Tina a note. Like, I'm just thinking about you. It doesn't have to be anything else. Or I have this going on. Would love to make sure you're a part of it. And another thing that I had the opportunity to do, whenever you get an award, when you get nominated for something, use that as a moment to open up discussion and share with people, to say, you know, I just had this, I don't know, I was nominated over 40 and fabulous. They're still trying to figure out my age. I'm like, baby, I'm over 40. That's all I'm giving you. But I did use it as an opportunity to reconnect with all of my friends, to say, vote for me, like be a part of the process. And some of those things I think are really helpful, just to stay top of mind with people. One, they know you are thinking about them, first of all. But second, it gets them a part of your process. And literally, I turn that into like, how are you doing? What's going on? Like, so think about those things in your life that are happening that you could use as a way to like engage and reconnect with people. And men do such a great job at this. Like, I cannot even tell you, they keep it going. I don't know how, like they act like they don't communicate, but they really do. So I think that's something, and write down those clients or like partners that you think can stick and really try to get a plan to manage against it. Okay, can we switch to social media and talk a little bit about, now Jasmine is good on the social media front. You want to and it could be many others, so I want everybody to speak.
Jasmine always says that I'm good at it, but
maybe you will get in the tub and show the world how to use these products in a heartbeat. But tell me, as you were deciding, one, can you talk a little bit about your how you came up with your strategy and approach to social? And then how did you begin to like get over your, how did you become free with how you were sharing content and information?
So I've had JD Bathco Skincare Company for 5 years. So at first when I started, I was not like as like free on the social channel as I am.
That's one way to call it, free.
I think so. I laid out a social strategy. I have a girlfriend who actually has a social media company called Social Inc. Co. And I've taken like every audit she's ever offered or launched. I'm actually in some of her course materials, but I've gone through like a number of her strategy sessions, learning how to create strategies that convert. So one, I reached out and had somebody help me because I wasn't exactly sure like how to make sure I was creating content that would actually create money. So I did that. And then a lot of it is I look at my social analytics all the time. So I look at my analytics for every social platform. I do the best on Pinterest, frankly. Like everybody knows me from the Instagram, but what's funny is I do over 500,000 views on Pinterest a month, all with organic content. So Pinterest is a very powerful tool, which I could talk about forever, but ping me if you want to know more about that, because I'll definitely show you. But I think a lot of it was just going through the trial and error of seeing what people like. When you spend hundreds of dollars on a photo shoot that's perfectly polished and nobody likes that photo, and then you take like a funky like bathroom selfie with like you're washing your face and it like totally blows up, it just goes to show you, like it starts to give you an understanding of what do your users want from you. And the thing that I realized is I think because people are so oversold Photoshop, that the more perfect my videos and stuff are, the less my users are interested. But the more it just feels like real life, like I just woke up and I'm just washing my face and I'm just a person just like you're a person, that is the content that does really well for me. And so when I tapped into that, then I just started doing it. And frankly, one of the things that really helped me to get free, which caused a lot of drama in my family, is I blocked all my family members. I'm serious. I blocked all my family members off of social media after all my socials, because I realized that like I was not stepping into what I needed to do because I'm like worried about that one aunt and like what she's going to say to me at Thanksgiving if I post that. And so I was like, my therapist was actually like, why is your 50-year-old aunt on your, like, how is this bringing any value to your life? And I was like, it's not,
let me block them. Right.
Yeah. Which caused like a huge, block a boomer on social media one time and watch if the whole family don't break out like it's a WWE fight.
Exactly.
So it caused a lot of drama, but I was just like super upfront. I was like, I don't feel like I can be the person I need to be to take my business to the next level with you guys watching and judging, because you guys gossip and I don't like it. So I'm cutting you out of your ability to
they tell you what they're gossiping about. No, I love that. But one of the things that you said I think is really important, and it links to a question that's here in the chat, is should everyone have a social media? And I'm like, first, yes. And Mary backed that up. But literally think of social media beyond just Instagram. So we have LinkedIn, you have Pinterest that Jasmine just talked about. You have Twitter that you can lean into. So we're not talking about it only being one form of social media. And honestly, we went on everything with Deo, and a lot of stuff is Facebook. We don't use everything. You use what's necessary. But I have found I use Instagram as an opportunity to land accomplishments, to talk about media, to talk about the business things that are happening with Deo. I use my personal Instagram to talk about my life and to show the values that are important to me as a leader. And then I use Deo's Instagram as a way just to showcase we're still in business. Here's new stuff. Here's our story. Here's what's happening. And I used to have a cadence. You can find your cadence of posting. I don't have as much to talk about right now, but literally starting tomorrow, we'll be posting like crazy. So I think it's really contingent on finding, and I'm not even talking about Pinterest yet, but Pinterest, we use it to showcase like our style. Jasmine was very instrumental in telling me to put every single video I have up on Pinterest.
Get on
Most
Pinterest.
of them are there. So we haven't seen the traction yet, but I feel like we're not working it, but it really is a great place to showcase the brand. So the thing I would say is like, even for you, Kim, hey, if you don't want to be on Instagram, that's fine, but there's a lot you can do on LinkedIn. And that's something like we can start to talk about. I think we all define it as stuff needs to happen on Instagram. You can post once a month there if you want. You may not have that many followers, but it doesn't matter. You can just talk to the people when you have something really meaningful to say there.
Instagram is a nurture platform. So we have to remember too, like if you're beating down Instagram all day trying to get outreach, you're going to waste your time because Instagram is working against you. Instagram is a nurture platform. Instagram is for the customers that already know you, already love you, and you're having that like more intimate conversation with them. I use TikTok and Pinterest for outreach because one, it's easier to get new clientele to see you on those platforms. Also, you're able to rank on Google using those platforms as well. So if you're able to get a lot of traction or even just really use your keywords effectively on Pinterest, somebody could Google and also find your pin, which opens up that outreach perspective a lot bigger. If you're struggling with the time management piece for social media, I dropped something in the chat called later.com. I use this tool to schedule everything out. So when I'm doing a lot of content, I schedule everything. And I believe they still have a free plan.
Okay. That's a great one. And it will be great, Mary, as a takeaway. Yeah, go ahead, Angela.
I just want to say we have in fact, Juju's on the line. She's kind of a social media expert. If she could provide maybe one valuable tip for everybody.
That'd be great.
She works with WEOP social media. So Juju.
Yeah, so hi everyone. Hi. First. But I was going to say that it's very important. I'm also answering the question about whether every business should have a social media. I think it's very important to focus on social media platforms that will work or where you'll actually connect with people in your industry, right? Because a lot of people will go onto Instagram because everyone's on Instagram right now or TikTok. But if the audience that you're looking for is on LinkedIn, that won't really work for you. So focusing on whatever platform you think you'll find the people that you're looking for is very important. But also trying to keep up with Instagram and their algorithm right now is a bit too much because it literally changes every week. Things change, but also they roll different features out to different people at different times, right? Right now, I currently manage like 4 or 5 accounts, but literally switching between those accounts, there's features that I'll find on one that are not on a different account at the moment. So just comparing yourself to other people is also not going to work because it's not everyone who has every feature that there is. So I guess it's just, yeah, do what you can and try to post as frequently as you can, I think, but also nurture the relationships that you have on Instagram. I think engagement is very big right now. Trying to engage with the people that you have, strengthen those relationships that you have, instead of trying to reach out to new people. Because right now, I think everyone's kind of struggling. Everyone I've spoken to at least is kind of struggling to reach out to new people on Instagram right now because it's just complicated. I love what you
said, Juju, coupled with what Jasmine is saying. Like if you know IG is a nurture platform, then send the stuff out that people who are following you can enjoy, that want to get to know you a little bit more. It makes the process a little bit easier. And so I think that's why some of the more raw content is actually working a little bit better, because the people who already know you, they want to see the real stuff, they don't want to see all the contrived content. So I think that's a really, really great insight. So Antoinette, we got through my first question out of 3 because we went a little bit deeper on challenges, but we have 3 more coming up. And the intent is to go into how to make sure we can hit the downhill really strong and like go through some of the tactics and tools that can be used to do that. And then for the last one, we'll get into planning for 2023 and make sure everyone's set to go win when we start to look at the following year, okay? But to ensure that we close on a high note, I would love, and are we sending out contact information? I don't know how this works, but I would just love for people to take 1 minute, go into your private DM and see if there's one person you can send a private message to that you can, even if you already know them, it's fine. But set one intention with someone who's on the call, whether you think you could help them or they can help you. Either way, if you heard something really interesting, I mean, I can go through, I can't even pronounce everybody's name correctly, but I'm gonna try this. Juju is social media expert. She helps WEOP. Crystal is worried about building her clientele. So if you have any tips, tools to help her do that, she would love it. Kim basically is very good at building from the ground and scaling up and taking that 1 by 1 step to get to a space of power. Melissa has shared a lot about grants and how to go after money, but really getting your financial house and your documentation in order. Myra, give me a headline for you.
Wellness coach, new, building clients.
Excellent. We love that wellness piece. Let's see, Jelaine, did I pronounce that right? Can you give me a headline? Give me a headline about your business and what you need.
So for myself and Patriana, we are starting up a business. So right now we're just needing help with some networking. We're putting together our business plan. So it's just really, we're here to find out what's available to us as a new startup here in Georgia. And, you know, trying to figure out where we can fit in with the ladies we were referred to you guys. So
okay, so maybe you could send something directly to Antoinette or Mary, because they would be a good starting point if you haven't like been heavily involved in WEOP so far. That could be a great point. Leslie, can you give me a headline, my friend?
Hello. I'm an investor, so I'm kind of coming into your market, so I'm networking.
Okay, that's perfect. And we talked a lot about, thank you. It's Amanita, right? Did I pronounce? Okay, good. And I mean, Amanita's provided comments in here, like providing her information. So you got to decide someone you want to connect with privately and figure that out. Let's see. Talina, did you tell us? Yeah, give us a headline.
CPA with Georgia licensed CPA, over 20 years license. So I probably connect mostly with Melissa in the financial arena. I need to strengthen my social media presence, but it's not sexy. So it'll probably be more like LinkedIn, you know, or something like that. I'm more of a behind the scenes person, but yeah.
I love it. Let's make sure you make that connection with Melissa. And maybe you just reach out to Juju. Sometimes we think behind the scenes doesn't mean we can get in front. Jasmine, who I know well, beautiful body products that are all vagina friendly. I actually need some honey rose soap, but so I'm gonna connect with you on this DM so you can send me an invoice. But I would say, like, you know, Jasmine has a lot to share around scaling a business, building manufacturing capabilities, as well as bringing a brand to life from a social digital perspective. Amanita, we talked about you, Yvette. I mean, just a wealth of knowledge, I think, in terms of just business in general, the foundational pieces of a business, understanding a service-oriented business. So you guys can reach out to her for those components. Ruth Lee, I didn't hear. Oh, did you want to add, Yvette? Go ahead. Oh, you good? Okay. Ruth Lee, I didn't hear about your business.
Hi, I'm a construction manager. and been in business for about 4 years. Things start picking up for me. Actually, I'm having Prime contacting me. So my issue is now going to be access to capital and manpower. So
you know who to reach out for the capital piece. Like Melissa's telling you, you better go after that money that you don't have to pay back. So that's a good place to start. I feel like we all should be hitting up Melissa right now. Like her whole DM should be full. I know we have hit 7 o'clock, you guys. So if anyone has to drop, I totally understand. And I'm sorry that
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
One of our board members is on the line, LaShonda from Georgia Power. LaShonda, can you hear us?
I can. I've been listening. I've been hearing really good things. I am listening to hear where everybody's business is. So this round table that we're doing right now is excellent. And so I'm hearing some really good things. I think you all are headed down the right path. Would like to know more about how you scale your business. Definitely need to focus on scaling your business, especially when we're going through some of these economic challenges and some of the recession. What we're talking about here a lot at Southern Company is how can we build sustainable, diverse companies to help us with our supply chain. And so some of those things, think about how supply chain has affected your business and how you can scale from that, and how you can make it an opportunity as well, because it is opportunities around some of the gaps that we're having with supply chain, but it is a risk that most big corporations are working through. And if you can be innovative and find out a way for us big corporations to kind of mitigate that risk, that is awesome. But I am enjoying every minute of this. So thank you, Antoinette, for this setting. I will be joining in the future. So just here to listen, and
yeah, but you're on camera the next time. We're not allowing.
I was on camera at first. I was on camera
okay.
at first, but I am multitasking. And the one thing I do not like is to be on camera and looking at another screen. That's so obvious that you're multitasking. So I don't want to do that.
Fair. Okay, that's fair. Wait, I know you turned off the light, put your bag on your arm. Can you give us a closing statement for?
Oh, so LaShonda popped up for a second. Okay.
So I was at Urith. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yes, that's correct. It's Urith.
Okay. Yes, can you give us a business headline really quick?
We help you find the money. In a nutshell, we help you find the money.
Okay, that's perfect. Well, we need to be in your DMs too. And
but quickly, before I go, I wanted to let you all know about the employee retention tax credit, which we process. I heard someone talk about not applying for PPP.
Okay.
The PPP and the ERTC were both passed along with the COVID Act. So this is funding set aside for business owners that were affected by COVID. You're actually looking at $5,000 for 2020 for each employee and $27,000 for each employee for 2021, which means the more employee you have, the more money you're able to recover. It's a payroll credit, which means you must have W-2 employees.
Okay.
So this can become a source of funding.
That's a great one. I've seen so many messages about that. So that's that paperwork you have to have in order, though, in order to get access to that. So that's another critical one. Thank you for.
We help with that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good one. And Kim can definitely go after that. Well, you guys, I want to officially end this call. I want to thank you. I know we're missing a couple of people, but I think we have the name, so we can start with you just to be respectful of time. But again, thank you for being in this discussion, for showing your face, for being candid, for sharing your resources and your honesty. We'll try to get a summary back out to everyone so you can see some of the resources that were talked about. I'm sure everyone was taking notes as well. And we'll keep the conversation going.